Hello my lovelies and welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I hope you are all having a really good week so far. So if you are new here, my name is Sharon, and on a Wednesday I usually talk about the food shopping that I've bought in the previous week, and there may be some recipes also along the way with that. So if you like to see people shopping, then you're in the right place. And I've done something differently. I have spoken about it on the channel a couple of times about the fact that Monzo were offering 7% cashback on an £85 spend. So you had to spend £85 to qualify for 7% cashback. That offer on my Monzo was valid for a couple of weeks, so I really wanted to take advantage of that. So usually what I do with my shopping is, if you're new here, I will just explain that I usually buy £100 Sainsbury's gift card for my shopping for the month. I use Top Cashback purely because that is where I save all of my money for the coming Christmas. So I don't use other apps. I know there are other apps that you can get cashback on, but I don't use those. I stick with Top Cashback. That usually keeps all of my cashback in exactly the same place. When you buy a Sainsbury's gift card, you get 2%. So it's not huge, but of course over the year, if I was doing that every single month, that's £24. That's a child or a grandchild's Christmas present that's been bought just from me shopping in that slightly different way. So last year, after I started the channel in January, I did all sorts of different ways with my shopping. I withdrew £100 and I worked with cash, and I did really enjoy using cash actually, but I kind of got into that mindset of thinking, why would I do myself out of even £2 per month, which over the course of a year does add up to another Christmas present. Also, if you're new here and wonder why I go to Sainsbury's, I think Sainsbury's does have a little bit of a bad rep as being quite an expensive supermarket. But to be honest with you, I don't really think it's any different to Tesco's or Morrison's. And it is my closest supermarket. So it is within walking distance for me. So it's convenient because I don't drive. Sometimes I do have to get lifts with people from family that live close by or my friends that live close by. I do sometimes have a lift, so I'm not always on foot. And then in a different direction to where I live, I have got Aldi as well. So I do some shopping in Aldi, some things that I think are really good value and too good to ignore, because obviously when you shop at Aldi the prices may be cheaper, but you get nothing back really from Aldi at all. Even with Lidl you get free pastries and things that I've seen people purchase. So that's really why I shop where I do. And I might be out with friends sometimes and find myself in a different supermarket. I may purposely walk to Morrison's for something in particular, or I may be passing an Asda. But on the whole, the bulk of my shopping is done at Sainsbury's, and then the little bits and pieces that I like from Aldi that are really good value, I do get in there. So I have my £100, which is usually for a gift card. And then what I started to do, because I was always going over budget, when I got my pay rise, I opened a new sinking fund, which is called my Aldi sinking fund, because I like to get my milk from Aldi and, like I said, a few other bits as well. So at the moment we are still on the £120 budget, but if I go to Marks and Spencer's and buy anything from there, then of course that will tip me over. And it's fine to just go for chicken legs and tin tomatoes, which is something I am planning on doing this month. But of course, it never ends there once you go into M&S, does it? I'm normally tempted by the Sicilian lemon cookies and any great yellow sticker bargains that they might have. So yeah, so that is that. Now, because I wanted to take advantage of the Monzo, I couldn't decide whether to go shopping in person or whether to do an online shop and have it delivered. And of course, you usually have some sort of delivery charge. And of course, again, there are always cheaper slots available. But I think it's very sort of swings and roundabouts with that. I was lucky enough to get a lift back from the supermarket. I did walk there, but I organised a lift because I knew I had a lot of shopping, and that worked out quite well for me. So I did actually go to the store. And I was kind of like mentally adding it up as I went round. And once I felt I'd got to that £85 mark, I just stopped kind of adding it up. I do know you can do this scan and shop thing. I've never done it. I've not inquired about it. And the reason that I felt it would have been beneficial for me to have done it, but I just thought if I overspend massively and I need to start putting things back, wasn't quite sure how that would work. So that put me off a little bit as well. So we relied on the old brain, and it is an old brain, and we did the best that we could. Yeah, so a big shop was done, and it was over the £85. And you're going to see that shortly. So what we're going to do is just show you the shopping, and then I think what I'm going to do is talk to you about my plans for the month, because you know I've done this big monthly shop. Most of it is store cupboard and cleaning and that kind of thing. There's not a huge amount of dinners there. So I want to talk about like my plans for April and how I see myself getting through the month with what I've bought on that big shop and what I've already got in the house. Getting back to saying about walking around the shop shopping, and when I said it swings and roundabouts, and then I went off at a tangent, as I always do. If you've been around a while, you'll know that. But what I really wanted to say on that point was, before I moved out and moved into this house, we did online shopping, my husband and I, for years and years and years. And the one thing that I do notice with online shops, of course, the pickers that go around and, you know, put everything together for then the delivery drivers to bring out to you, the pickers will take from the front. So a picker is not going to think to themselves, oh, that goes out of date tomorrow. They will just pick it and pack it. When you go in the shop, you've got the opportunity to go to the back of the shelf, as naughty as it may be, and to get things that have got a better date on them than the things at the front. It's not always the way, because sometimes there isn't a lot of stock of a particular fresh item. I wanted as long a date as I could get on the fresh bits that I have bought. So that was another reason why I wanted to go into the shop, because I knew that the fresh things that I was buying would have to go into the fridge to begin with. So until I start eating down some of my yellow sticker dinners, and then those fridge items that have got a longer date on can then go in the freezer. And that doesn't bother me, because usually I live off of yellow sticker foods for my dinners, and they are bought on the day that they are going out of date, and then they're put in the freezer. So I thought, if I can put things into the fridge for now, start eating some things out of the freezer, creating some room, and then I can then put them in. The downside of shopping in person is, of course, the temptation to put things in your trolley that you may not necessarily need, but you look at them and you either think they're a good deal or you fancy something and then you buy it. So that's where I think the swings and roundabouts come in. I think it's a case of dates versus temptation, really. So I'd be interested to know what you feel about that. Do you go shopping in person and find that you do put treats and things that you just spot because they're on a good deal into your basket or trolley you know, something that you wouldn't do if you did online shopping. Yeah, so I'd love to know that. So I'm going to show you the shopping now, and then I'm going to come back and talk about it and go through my plans for the month of April. So I'll see you in about 9 something minutes. Told you it was a big shop. Well guys, I've got the longest shopping receipt I've ever had in my entire life. No, not in my entire life, but you know what I mean. Right, let's get into it. 2 bleach, because again, 1 for each bathroom for the upcoming months, 75p each. The Sainsbury's hand wash, 1 for downstairs, 1 for up. They are both really low at the moment, and they were 59p each. And then I got some toilet wipes, 1 for upstairs, 1 for down, at 43p each. Pack of toilet roll at £3. Next item. I bought Aldi coffee pods the other day. I've realised that they are super weak and they give me bellyache. I don't know why. The Law are my absolute favourites, and I picked up a pack of 40 for £10. Still quite indulgent, of course, but a darn sight cheaper than buying coffee in a coffee shop or getting Uber Eats to deliver one when you work from home. 2 Pepsi Max, so 2 is £3.50, and then the Fairy washing up liquid is £1. I've got a bit of a thing about only buying antibacterial, but I didn't today. I bought the original because the antibacterial, although a bit bigger, was £2. I went with the original for £1. Pack of 4 baked beans over there for £1.56, and oh, where's that gone? Oh, I've already put them in the cupboard. Stupid me. Got a pack of aqua water for £2.50, 12 bottles times 500ml, £1 off on Nectar price, so £2.50. Sage and onion stuffing, because I've not had any stuffing in the house for ages, at 45p. A Jason's sourdough at full price, but on Nectar at £1.90 instead of £2.20. And then a Kingsmill white, because I'm craving just soft white normal bread. I know it's bad for you, but £1.30. Then I bought some pudding rice, because I want to make a homemade rice pudding, and that was £1.50. 2 rich tea biscuits at 50p each. I bought myself a chocomel drink, but I drank it outside the shop while I was waiting for my lift, and that was £1. Because I was really thirsty. Gravy granules, £1.65. Got the large one, again, just because it makes financial sense. I'm fairly low, and I probably will run out in the month of April, so that's why I bought another one. Again, mayonnaise, I'm not completely out, but I am really low, 85p. I bought some frozen prawns for £3 with the intention of making a curry. I've still got some garlic prawns in the freezer, and those will be served with pasta and tomatoes, tin of tomatoes. I didn't buy tomatoes today. I want to get the Marks and Spencer's ones at £1.80, so much better. And I think £1.80 for a pack of 4 is actually really good. So, yeah. Then I picked up these fish fingers. My friend Sharon over at Living a Thrifty Lifestyle recommended these, 93p. I don't usually have fish fingers as a dinner, but I do like them in a sandwich. Oh, I may even do that today, actually. So, yeah, 93p. And then I picked up the, again, sorry, just let me say, they've got the MSC label, which you need to look out for. And so have the Bird's Eye Jumbo battered fish fillets. They've also got the MSC label, and they were £3 on Nectar price, down from 4, so £1 off. Savoury snacks, pork scratchings, £2.70. The next thing on my list is a card for a new home, which is in my handbag, for £2. So that needs to come off my total spend and come out of the gift budget, but that's fine. cream crackers at 49p, 2 custard creams at 40p each. Again, don't forget, this is a month's worth of stuff I've got here. The Kellogg's Rice Krispie Squares. Oh, my kids used to have these in their lunch boxes. I can't remember the last time that I ate one of these, but when I saw them on offer, yeah, probably shouldn't have got them. £2.25. And then I got the lemon Sicilian muffins. That was my Sky VIP freebie, and they were valued at £2. Went for Walker's Crisps this time just because they were on offer at £1.65. 4 tins of tuna. As you know, I always get the 4-pack, £2.49. And then back over here, risotto rice at £2. I bought some home bake rolls at £1.50, and a pack of cream eggs again because I've eaten all the others at £3. They should be £4.25. They're still £1.25 off on Nectar. A tartar sauce again. I'm not completely out, but I'm low, and I will run out in the month of April. And then I got some ground nutmeg and some ground cinnamon. The nutmeg will be for the rice pudding, and also I'm going to make some homemade hot cross buns. So I needed both of those. I didn't have either of those spices. I would have preferred to have bought them in Aldi cheaper, but I needed to spend £85, so I needed to ensure that, you know, I did a good big shop, so I got them in there. And then eggs. Always get large eggs, and they are £3.30 for 12. The dates, again, this is sort of like the snack area. Although they're not really a snack, I have them more for fibrous purposes, shall we say. And they were £5 for that size pack. There were no dates on a Nectar price, unfortunately, and you could pay £2.50 for 200, so it made sense to pay £5 for the 500. The Graham's Gold Milk. I was just going to get full fat, but the reason I got this is because it was on Nectar, and it had 45p off, so it was £1.95. That's for the rice pudding and the hot cross buns, so that's really why I bought that. And then cheese, that was on a Nectar price of £3. That had £1.25 off of it. And the beef mince, 20% fat at £3.25. And then I picked up some normal bacon just because it was reduced at £1.19. And then I got the nitrate-free one, which was full price at £3. That Nectar price has gone off of that now, unfortunately. Picked up Philadelphia. I've been out of that for a couple of weeks, actually. That was also on Nectar at £1.35. 90p off, down from £2.25, so that was a good price. And I picked up, rather than Stilton, I picked up the Wensleydale Creamery, because that was £2.75, and I think the normal Stilton was 20p more. So I thought, oh, let's try that blue vein cheese instead. I got some spring onions, which are over here at 69p. I got white potatoes at £1.32. I got a double cream for £3. Again, I can add some of that to the rice pudding, and I want to make a carbonara next week as well. Broccoli was £1.13. Went for the biggest head that they had. And Richmond thick sausages should be £3.60 for the pack of 12, but they have £1.35 off. So that made them £2.25. So they will be portioned up and put into the freezer. I was thinking about doing a not a click and collect, a delivery slot. Yeah, I'd have to send someone to collect it, wouldn't I? And the reason that I didn't is because walking around the shop, you can pick up things with a better date on them. So yeah, mince and the sausages, I went for the best dates. I went to the back of the shelf. And what else did I look for the best dates on? The bread as well. So, and the cream. Yeah, so that's it. What a shop. And now I've got to put the damn stuff away. Oh my God. And also, what am I going to do for the month? I'm going to have hardly anything to show you on the shopping front now. I thought that was a pretty card. So yes, my eldest daughter, husband and 2 daughters moved into their new home yesterday. Oh, that was nice for £2 somewhere. 250, 275. So that's got to come off the shopping. So the total that I spent, where did it say? Debit MasterCard, 97.47. Shocking. Absolutely shocking, isn't it? That's why I don't shop like that anymore. I used to shop like that all the time. Right up until I started this YouTube channel in January 23, I did a big monthly shop. Just like I've shown you, but it used to be about 60, 70 quid. And then I'd have like £30 left for popping to Sainsbury's or Aldi's. But yeah, I mean, obviously there were a couple of treats in there that I could have done without. Yeah, I don't know what to say really. Obviously I was just trying to make sure I spent over £85 to qualify for the Monzo cashback offer. I'll put a screenshot up of that. I got a notification straight away that that's how much cashback I'd earned. I think it's £6.82, I think. So yeah, so in actual fact, as I said, where am I? Oh, 97.47, so £2 off of that, so 95.47 there. So we've got less than £5 left on the £100 that I normally spend on a Sainsbury's gift card. And then of course I've got £20 in my Aldi sinking fund, but really it's not just for Aldi, because I want to go and get my tin tomatoes from Marks and Spencer's. And what I didn't pick up in Sainsbury's that was on my list was Thai green curry paste, because it didn't have a price on the there was no label at all, and I'm not sure how much that costs these days. And the coconut milks, I was reading the back of them and they are all full of rubbish. And I thought, oh, I bet Marks and Spencer's one is better. So we shall see. And also can do a price comparison. I think Sainsbury's own brand was 79p on coconut milk. They did have a brand that was 70p that I've never seen before. But again, it's all full of rubbish. So I guess it has to have some kind of preservative in it, doesn't it, to keep it. But anyway, I'm going to check that out at M&S whenever I next get there. So yeah. What can I say, guys? What can I say? Guys, so you should have seen the shopping for now. So I'm sure you've all got thoughts on what I have bought. And the first thing that I've thought about as I've been putting the shopping away is, what would I do differently? I just made some notes so that I don't forget anything. What would I do differently? Well, there are certain things that in hindsight I shouldn't have bought, but I did buy. And the things that I can kind of identify there: expensive milk, although I bought that for a reason. I did buy it so that I could make some hot cross buns rather than buy some, and also to make a homemade rice pudding, which I've not had for years. So that was why I bought that. And at full price, I wouldn't have touched it, but because it was on Nectar, I did. The other thing that I guess I shouldn't really have bought were the Rice Krispie bars. Like I said, my kids used to have those in their pack up, and I love them as well. And I've not had those for years. So I saw them, I fancied them. So as I was saying, you know, you do get tempted when you're walking around the shop. Maybe I shouldn't have bought the rice and the spices to make a homemade rice pudding. I shouldn't have probably bought the drink that I drank while I was waiting for my lift to come and collect me. But I got really, really hot in the shop, and I only had a lightweight jacket on. I think I was probably sweating at doing such a big shop. and spending such a lot of money, because that's not something that I've been used to. Although I always shopped in that way until I started the channel. I used to do one big monthly shop. But then what I was buying, I was paying about £60 for. And I still used to have like £40 for yellow sticker bargains each week from the supermarket and fresh stuff. So yeah, I tried to adopt this way of shopping a couple of months ago, and when I put everything into my online trolley, and I think it was about 80 something quid, and I thought, no, I'm not doing it, and I didn't go through with it. But throughout 2023 and 2024, that is exactly how I shopped all the time. I had one big delivery of heavy stuff, you know, enough milk to put a few in the freezer, couple of bags of potatoes, and then store cupboard and cleaning materials, looking at the month ahead, looking at what I needed and getting it all on one food shopping delivery. So yeah, and also I have put down the coffee pods, although again that pack of 40 makes financial sense because it's about £3 when those Law ones are on offer. Or I think Costa coffee pods were on offer at £2.95. But if you say they're usually £3 for 10 and I got 40 for £10, again, that makes financial sense to have bought that bigger packet. The only thing I've got to try and be really strong and not to do is to have more than one a day. Because if I just have one a day, they're going to take me nicely into the beginning of May. So yeah, we'll have to try and be quite good with that, because sometimes I am quite partial to a coffee in the afternoon, especially if I'm tired and I'm trying to perk myself up a bit. I don't want to fall asleep while I'm working. Imagine that. People have said they do that when they work from home, you know, and then the phone rings in their ear and they're like, I mean, we're rarely that quiet. The phone calls are always pretty constant, but yeah, I should imagine that will be quite embarrassing. Okay, so what will I still need to buy in April? Well, the things that I've identified are going to be the things that anybody would think of as needing as fresh things that you get on a weekly basis, like milk, bread, potatoes and vegetables. The Veg Wars will really help me out here. They should be starting anytime now. I'm not sure of the exact date or the end date and which supermarkets are doing what. I've only read about Aldi, and I think they are going to be 4p for white potatoes, carrots, swede, parsnips, I think it was onions and clove of garlic for 4p each. So the Veg Wars will really help me out. I'm going to get a few bags of potatoes if I can. It's probably going to involve a few trips to the supermarket because obviously potatoes aren't things that I can, you know, I can probably only carry one bag if I've got a milk or two as well, you know. But yeah, I would like to get a little bit of a stock up on those things. I've probably not got the freezer room to be blanching vegetables and then freezing them, but I will think about storing them. I don't know if I've got any brown Amazon bags. Sometimes things are delivered in brown paper bags from Amazon, aren't they? Don't know if I've got any bags like that in the cupboard where I kind of keep sort of bags for maybe vintage parcels or anything like that. I'll have to have a look because that would be the perfect solution for storage. Getting the vegetables out of the plastic, because I'm a bit of a devil for that. Getting them in brown paper bags, sealing them up and putting them out in the garage where it's dark. So the Veg Wars will help, and also when it comes to making soups as well. So I don't know what other supermarkets are going to be charging. Of course, things will be cheap in other supermarkets as well, no doubt. But you're probably, if you're looking at Christmas prices, Sainsbury's were 15p, I think. But what I've just read out that I've seen online for Aldi, we'll have to wait and see, you know, if that is correct, what I've mentioned. But something I would like to see and get from somewhere, if they've got it on the Veg War Easter offers, would be some sort of green veg as well. Aldi's looks like it's just root vegetables, swede, carrots and parsnips. So yeah, I can be making some fresh soups, so that will help me out with lunches. And I'm not adverse to having soup for dinner, especially if you put some cooked pasta in it or something like that to make it a little bit more filling. And also you can do a veg soup, and if I've got any leftover chicken or anything like that, then again, that makes it more of an actual dinner. So yeah, Marks and Spencer's, I'm going to be looking at chicken legs, tin tomatoes, because I didn't get any in the Sainsbury's shop. And I want to take a look at their coconut milk. Did I moan about coconut milk in that video? I may have done. And if I did, then it proves what a contradiction I am. Because although I'm becoming much more aware of additives and emulsifiers and all of the things that we should be trying to avoid, and of course we know it's difficult to sometimes do that on a budget. People can't eat everything organic, you know, it's just not possible. But the tin tomatoes that I bought in M&S were really good, really rich. So yeah, I definitely want to get my tin tomatoes from there. And moaning about the coconut milk just proves what a see, again, I've gone off at a tangent. Let's start from scratch. In Marks's, I want to get chicken legs, tin tomatoes. Did I moan about coconut milk in that video? If I did, and I said, I think I'm going to check out coconut milk in M&S, that proves what a contradiction I am. Because in that shopping, I have got Richmond sausages, which I can't give up. When we talk about ultra processed foods and, you know, the best brands of sausages you should buy, Richmond would not be in there. I think my friend Sharon said over at Living a Thrifty Lifestyle, she had watched a video about sausages, and I think Richmond contain the absolute bare minimum that is allowed by the government guidelines or something like that. But I just can't stand the good sausages. I have got a pack of good sausages in the freezer, which I picked up on a yellow sticker, but they're too porky, and I always find the skins are really tough. I'm sorry, but I can't give up my Richmonds. So yeah, also Pepsi Max, it's something I know I should give up. Would I be better off drinking full fat, full sugar Pepsi or Coca-Cola? I don't know. I don't think I could now. I think I'm so used to the taste of Pepsi Max. But I would like to give that up, but I just don't know what the alternative is. I've tried flavoured waters. I think also they're full of rubbish, and they make my mouth really dry. They don't refresh me or quench my thirst at all. So, and I don't drink squash, and I have to force myself to drink water. I only have a small glass of Pepsi every evening because by the time I've eaten my dinner, come the evening, I'm pretty sick of tea and coffee. There's the occasional evening where I think, oh, I fancy a cup of tea about 9 o'clock. And then I will use one of my decaf tea bags that I only buy because of being on the thyroxine medication. And if I take that first thing in the morning, I can't have caffeine for 30 minutes. So I just have decaffeinated tea bags in for my first cup of tea of the day. And I do, as you will know if you've been around a while, I've started to sometimes pick up the tea bags where the bags aren't bleached, but only if they are on a nectar price. So yeah, so I still didn't buy coconut milk for my prawns to make a curry. So whenever I do get to Marks's, I don't think it will be this week at all, then I will look at their coconut milk. And if it's no different, I'll just get one from another shop that's cheaper. Okay, so how do I intend to get through the month of April when it comes to dinners? Because there's not a lot of dinners there. But again, if you've been watching for a while, you'll know that you will have seen throughout the month of March the things that I've picked up on Yellow Sticker. So number one will be the Yellow Sticker dinners that are already in the freezer. Number two will be batch cooks. So things that I've already cooked previously, that I've made more than one portion of, and that's now in the freezer. For example, my experiment with the chicken mince. I had that one portion the day that I cooked it. The rest is in the freezer in various containers. I know for a fact that I've got a chili con carne batch cooked as well. I've also got crumble base, but we won't go into that. Just trying to think about any other batch cooked dinners that I've got. Possibly curry in the outside freezer, and I've got 2 turkey and leek pie bases that I made a couple of days after Christmas Day, so they're going to need eating. So we'll be having pie a couple of times as well. Number 3, cheaper meals. Now, I always incorporate at least one cheap meal to make my Yellow Sticker dinners go further. So usually 1, sometimes 2 cheap dinners a week, depending on what I've got in. So when I say cheap dinners, I'm talking about things like risotto, pasta bakes. I'm planning on making tuna fish cakes, carbonara, because you will see that I bought some cream, and I've got bacon, I've got onions already in the fridge, and I've got mushrooms that are frozen. So carbonara. Things like omelettes, mushroom omelette maybe. I've got some ham in the freezer frozen. It could be a ham omelette, could be a plain omelette, who knows, whatever takes me. And also I'm a big lover of egg, chips and beans. Going back to old school, when I was a kid, we used to have egg and chips every Thursday. So yeah, I don't mind egg and chips. And the other thing that I've got written down, jacket potatoes, because I love a jacket spud. So those are kind of the ideas that I've got in my head, and I'm probably going to try and have 2 cheap meals each week throughout the month of April to make the dinners that I've got last a little bit longer. So bear in mind, obviously a 500 gram pack of mince that I bought, I'm going to get 4 meals out of that. The sausages were a 12 pack, that should be 4 dinners there. The prawns would be 2 dinners there. So already you can see that we're looking at about 10 dinners just out of those 3 things that I bought. Then there was the fish, that's 2 dinners, so that's 12. The fish cakes will more than likely go into a sandwich rather than have them as a dinner, but of course they may be used for a dinner. So you can see that with what I've bought, my plans for cheap things, the yellow stickers that I've got, I'm pretty confident that we can get through the month without being tempted to go and buy any yellow sticker bargains. Excuse me. But I do think it'll be interesting to see if the food that I've got can last, and hopefully it will mean, of course, less trips to the supermarket, because the more you go, the more I can't resist going to look where they put the yellow stickers. So the fact that I won't be going anywhere near as much, I won't be tempted, and especially if I can stock up on the Easter War veg prices this week, later this week. So yeah, I think that is about it really when it comes to that shop. I will just say something I was so annoyed about, because I'm really low on milk now. And the only reason I'm not going to the shop now after work is because the hot water's on and I need to wash my hair. So I either came on with wet hair or hair that I did not style before work, in hope that nobody needed to jump on a video call with me, like my manager or support team or whatever. So hence why I've not gone to the supermarket today. And I thought, gone to get milk today. I thought I'm going to get out the milk that I've got in the cupboard. Now, I bought some cupboard shelf milk, probably at the beginning of winter, maybe. Just stocked up on a few things at that point, thinking that if the weather gets bad throughout winter and we've got snow on the ground or something like that, ice, and I can't get out, I wouldn't want to go out in those conditions, then I'll just have a carton of shelf milk in the cupboard that if I'm low on milk, I can use it. So because I'm low on milk, and I only picked up the expensive milk on the shop at Sainsbury's, I got this down this morning that I picked up in Aldi, like I said, at the beginning of the winter, only to find, as I pulled it out the cupboard, the date 16th of January 26. I'm not a happy bunny, and I don't know what you guys are going to have to say about it, but that's too far out of date for me. If it had been a couple of days, then I probably still would have used it, but we're looking at over 2 months out of date, so I don't feel happy to drink that at all. So yeah, I'm just being very sparing with what I've got at the moment, and then I'll probably go to Aldi after work tomorrow and pick some up. And if need be, I might have to take some of that lovely creamy whole milk and put in my coffee tomorrow. And then use the rest for the hot cross buns. I can't remember how much I need for hot cross buns or for the rice pudding, but anyway, we shall see. So yeah, we need to get another shelf milk as well at some point to have in the cupboard for emergency purposes. So I think that's it from me, guys. So thank you so much for watching. It's probably turned into a fairly longish video with that amount of food shopping, but I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you watching the ads for longer than 30 seconds, which, as I say, always allows the channel to earn some money from the ad revenue for those adverts. That's how a YouTuber gets paid. And also for your likes, your comments, and if you ever see the ability to hype me and do that, it all helps with the algorithm and hopefully will help to push the channel out to more people. So that is always greatly appreciated. Now I'm going to see you on Friday because we are going to be incorporating some budget dinners. I'm going to do a little extra Frugal Fridays videos showing some of the cheaper meals. So whether you're trying to introduce some cheaper dinners into your monthly meal plan or whatever, then you'll be able to check out a few things that I make and that I class as cheap budget dinners throughout the next few weeks. So I will see you on Friday, and until then, enjoy the next few days and take care of yourselves. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Friday. Bye bye, guys.